I said, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. I said, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. We're gonna drink a fine whiskey and smoke a really fine cigar.
It is time. It is time for happy hour. It is the Man Cave Happy Hour. Whiskey, cigars, spirits, the stories that go along with it. I'm Jamie Flanagan.
I'm Matt Fox, trying to get into the camera.
And I'm still August Gitschlag, and I don't need to be on camera.
Oh, another day in the palatial podcast. Your voice, Man Cave Suite.
Just don't know what day it is today. I'm used to doing this on Mondays.
It's been like that all week long, where I've been going, what is today?
Who am I?
What's
What
going
am I?
on?
Yeah.
What am I doing?
I like doing this on Thursdays because it's my Friday. One of my 2 Fridays I get each week.
It's one of your 2 Fridays. It's like second breakfast.
That's right. Yeah, those of you on audio, you can't see this, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's 2 middle fingers going up right against my big smirk. My big smile.
Today in school, I emailed somebody. It's like, all right, have a great weekend. You know, I'm glad things went well. And it's like I had no intention of going to work tomorrow.
Wow.
And then they're like, dude, it's Thursday, and I'm like, oh crap.
Well, I was doing the math.
How did that happen?
I got a big whiteboard calendar in my office, and I was doing the math because I always take Punchki Day off. Start
yes.
scheduling for that, gentlemen.
Yep.
And the day before is President's Day, and we're off anyway.
Oh, my goodness.
So I'll have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off.
That's like a
using
trifecta of
one
fun.
vacation day.
Yeah.
So that's, gotta love being a government worker. You know?
That is brilliant.
I was, kind of.
Sort of.
Sort
You were a
of.
banker. You had banker's hours.
I had banker's hours.
Banker's
But
hours count.
I had the government holidays, though. That's the thing.
That's true.
So the Man Cave, we do a lot of bourbon. We do a lot of whiskey.
A lot of spirits, a lot of heavy duty stuff.
We get into the spirits.
Those tequilas, barrel-aged tequilas.
And Augie was like, you know what we should do? We should do something a little different. And I'm like, heck yeah.
I didn't think we were quite sophisticated enough for a wine tasting here.
No, we
So,
are. We will.
I went
Did
a
we?
different route.
Have we done wine? No, we did. I think we paired a cigar with wine one point. But yeah, so it's baby steps. We'll move towards.
Well, I'm still
things
dreading
other
the cigar lounge episodes because I can't stand cigars.
Well,
So
welcome to the Man Cave,
I'll get there.
asshole.
I know, right?
But we were. You suggested. You're like, I know some fellas who have mead.
They're wholly decent fellows too.
Honestly, what? Oh,
Yeah, there's your technical difficulties, Matt.
Yeah.
There you
anyway,
go.
so when I think mead, I think of walking around the Renaissance Festival and looking at all these people walking around drinking mead, and
Which I thought was white wine with Sprite in it.
Yeah.
That's what I always thought
And
it
that's
was.
probably what it is
Yeah,
at
it
the
was the
Ren
mead.
Center.
I remember at the
It
Ren
is in
Center.
some places.
It is. Yeah.
So that's where when I think of mead, that's where my brain goes. But I'm hoping that you fellows can change my brain and change my idea around of mead
I think
itself.
that'll happen.
So, Augie, how do we say the name of the product? Is it Triaxial? Triaxial.
Well, let's let the
3
gentlemen.
and then
axes.
Augie introduce our
Well, I was
guests
going to let
today.
them introduce themselves, but we have here some good friends of mine. I can say they're good friends. One of them taught me how to make wine, as a matter of fact.
Right.
So right to my right is Mr. Barry Melso.
Hi, Barry.
We got Barry, and we
How you doing?
got Mike and Paul.
Barry, Mike, and Paul, and you got Triaxial.
Triaxial.
Triaxial
Three
Mead
axes.
Smiths.
Lots of vowels in there.
Triaxial Mead Smiths.
It's an extra syllable that I don't always pronounce. Triaxial.
And so Triaxial Mead Smiths,
Triaxial.
that's you guys. You are the. Is it Tri because there's 3 of you? Is that
Yeah.
Absolutely.
all right? And then who's the Axel?
Well, there's we sort of
Axel.
there's 3 axles. So,
Axel.
Paul is really the brains of this operation. Barry's kind of the brawn, and I guess I'm
You're
just
the beauty.
eye candy.
Yeah, you're the eye candy.
the eye candy.
Yeah.
All right. So I was like, I had a lot
have a
of
drink.
trepidation over the.
And at least we know where our place. Yeah.
I know what it's like being the eye candy of the 3.
All right. So Mead Smiths, and these are Triaxial Meads. We have an array here. I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we brought a bunch.
yeah, you guys. I was like,
Well,
We
well,
always
talk
have
to
our-
us.
I'm
for
glad
Bear.
they have. They're corked, so I'm
Yes,
glad they
they
have
are. I asked if they had
corkscrews.
church
I do
keys.
actually have one in my bag.
So
but,
tell
There's
us,
one right there on the table.
what is the history of mead? I know there is it's like one of the oldest fermented spirits, like that's historically recorded. Correct?
Yeah.
It
So
predates
how long is this
Arguably,
podcast?
arguably, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
No one knows for sure, but arguably it's the oldest fermented beverage.
Right. The theory is that, back in prehistoric times, of course, early humans were able to harvest honey, and it gets mixed with water, wild yeasts in the air, sort of ferment it a little bit, make it a little fizzy.
Next thing you know,
Some of the
Igor's,
cavemen are
the
drinking
cavemen
this
are
and
in there.
saying, you know what, that's not bad. Feeling a little bueno, and so they keep setting it out. Of course, they don't know anything about yeast, microbiology or anything. They just know if I set this here in this air under, maybe under this temperature, good things happen.
Good things happen.
And then obviously as technology came into being all the way up through the 1800s, when we started having microscopes and things like that, we learn about yeast and they start refining it. But it's, definitely arguably the world's oldest alcoholic beverage. Some people will argue beer, but
Well, what is
beer,
the
you have to do things.
So what is the pure mead then? It's just simply your basic honey.
Honey, yeast, and water.
Yeast and water.
That's all that goes in there.
Okay.
And that's what we call a traditional mead. And when you hear about the ancient Greeks talking about the gods sitting on Mount Olympus drinking ambrosia, they're talking about mead.
Okay.
The Vikings in their long hauls. Everybody has this kind of idea in their head that
pirates.
that meads were these frothy, crude beverages.
Yeah.
And
In a
such.
stein, right?
Yeah, and they're actually quite
wooden
refined.
A wooden
actually.
stein, yeah.
Quite refined. Out drinking them out of a horn or something like that.
All right, don't be afraid to get right up on that.
I
You
will
guys are
try
good.
to remember to do that.
You guys are good. That one is.
This one?
Yep. You need
Well,
to be a little
you have that.
closer to it.
You have that. You tend to want to look at the person you're talking to.
Right.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
You kinda
But
do it too.
so
My dad would be yelling at me. Look.
Another
me
thing
in the
about
eye."
mead is that you have to remember, and this goes the same for early beer, early wine.
Yeah.
Back in the day, the water would kill you.
oh yeah,
Right.
right.
And so when they did fermentation, they didn't know it was fermentation and what that was. They just knew how to get the product, and that's what they would drink. Small beer, mead, wine, whatever. That was far safer for them.
Yeah. So Augie said that you helped him make wine, right? So what came first, the wine or the meads in your adventure? What led you to making meads? Did you do wine first, or did you jump in with the meads?
I think it was the beer.
Yeah, these guys were beer guys.
I
first.
think,
Oh, you were a
I think
beer
for
guy.
all three of us, it was beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did some home brewing with beers?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And then how early did you start brewing with beers at home?
12,
I was
13.
this was like 1998, 1999. I think is when I first brewed my first batch, probably something
Okay.
like that. Yeah. So it's been a while for me.
Right on. And then, so how about you? And then, how early did you kick off?
Barry and
with
I
beer?
brewed our first batch beer together around 2001.
Around there, yeah.
All right.
Give or take.
And then
Summer of
what
01.
what led to the wine and then ultimately mead and the mead project?
It's not that really big of a thought or an inspiration. It was, what else can we ferment?
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it goes.
We joined a homebrew club, and
Okay.
for Barry and I, we joined a homebrew club, and then mead sort of started becoming popular. People started kind of flirting with it. Where we were, our homebrew club sponsor made some mead, and then this is where Paul comes into the picture for us.
Oh yeah. Well, I helped start Bee Nectar. So
Okay.
when I was homebrewing, I was dabbling here and there. I didn't do a lot. And then Brad Allhofer and I were friends, and we found out independently each other we were homebrewing. So we started homebrewing together, and then it just kind of led into mead. And he won some medals like nationally. And
Oh,
then
neat.
Him and his wife wanted to start Bee Nectar, and then they wanted help, so I helped them. And then we just kind of took that whole idea and ran with it.
So how did the three of you come together?
Well, I think that like when Bee Nectar opened a meadery, all the homebrewers that were into mead were like, "Holy crap!" This
Yeah,
is
Nerd
amazing.
Central.
Right. So anyone that made mead came to hang out, and we were really open to that, and we got to be friends with a lot of the guys that came through, and then
They would get volunteers that because they were a very small operation back then.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
So they'd need volunteers to maybe help them bottle and things like that. And
Okay.
because we're like, yeah, sure, I'll come work 6 hours for one bottle of mead. Happily.
I've done it at Coonan's many times.
It was good
I
mead.
think that's called payola. Is that what that's called?
No.
The barter system, perhaps.
the barter system.
barter
yeah.
I'm just playing.
But there's
That's as old as mead.
a community, it comes together like a community,
Right, it
and building and sharing and crafting things and then sharing what you've come up with. I love that. So when did you say we're going to make this a brand
Yeah.
and we're gonna spend some money on labels? And when did this become a brand?
Custom corks.
Well, I kind of already knew how to do
yeah.
everything. Yeah, I kind of already knew how to do everything from my experience at B Nectar. I was director of operations there.
Okay.
So I had an opportunity with I had found out that Sean Nixon and his wife were interested in having us come in there to kind of make them there under their license to help them pay their overhead.
Okay.
And it's something interesting. They were interested in it because they thought they were cool. And so I approached these guys and I said, hey, are you guys interested in this? And they said, yeah.
And we'd been kicking and
Yeah.
stuff around already.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
we got to do something one day. And
Sure.
Yeah.
we ultimately got off our keisters and did it.
Got an opportunity to do something, and so we have an arrangement with them. So we're making it's made at Fourth Coast Cider Works, and it's
Okay.
it is.
Where is Fourth Coast? Cider Works?
So their production facility is on Lapeer Road, just north of where the Palace used to be.
Okay.
Oh wow, okay, right there on M24.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
1 mile north.
Yeah.
And then their tasting room is actually at Canterbury Village.
Oh,
It's actually
it's
a
right
lovely
there when-
place to go have a
It's really
really
cool.
nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's in the old stables, right? So it's
Okay,
got a
yeah.
lot of history. So it's
All
really
right.
cool in there. And it's literally you park and it's right there, right by that big giant church. It's right next to it.
Then you go across the street and play some bocce ball. There's nothing wrong with that.
And then there's there's Yates Cider Mill right next door too. So if you
Yeah.
want donuts, you can go over there and get your donuts. And stuff
We
like
went
that.
to one of
So
their
it's pretty cool.
releases there, and they had that whole beer garden going out back, and they had all
Yes.
kinds of stuff. Canterbury Village is still kind of
It's a
cool.
nice little
I do
Yeah.
miss that
They
restaurant.
do events
that
all the
was there,
time. They do quite a few events. They do the food truck thing. They have this dinosaur stroll, which I took my daughter to, and that was crazy.
It's not as far away as it sounds like it is to us
Right.
East Siders, you know.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
It really doesn't take that long.
But
to
when
get
I
there
was a
from
kid,
here.
that was up north.
Oh yeah, it was
man.
basically up north.
That
Yeah,
was- yeah.
it basically was.
Fourth Coast is worth a visit, though.
You said you have a daughter. How old is your daughter?
She's about to turn 7. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, she loved it. She's on the dinosaurs, so and she's going crazy. So,
right. So
but
it-
anyway, they opened their doors to us, and we came up with an agreement, and it's going pretty well. We're able to make our products there, and we have another product line called Vivid Grove Cellars we can get into here a little bit later.
Yeah.
That we're making there as well. So
There's a whole array of things in front of us.
and a
I
lot
mean,
of colors and a lot of things
There
that
really
look
is,
like honey.
yeah.
So
There's
We brought a good variety for you, so you can maybe try a little,
I
a
see
few different
amber
types.
and I see plum and I see honey and.
I'd like to open it up with these two novices here.
Yeah.
Don't go
He's
to your
not-
tastings and your openings and don't have a case of this at home. What is the most traditional mead that they could try?
Well,
both
either
of
one of the trads right there.
Oh,
and
grab
that-
one and
that's
open it up.
That's the thing.
Let's
That's
start with the blueberry
um,
blossom.
yeah, that's a good call.
Okay.
That's the thing about the Man Cave Happy Hour. It's we don't know anything. That Matt and I were like, we love spirits, we like cigars, but we don't know anything about it. We want to learn. We want to talk to people that do it and get a little bit educated and
Right,
hopefully
right.
share some ideas along the way. So I don't know anything about a mead.
Mead is actually like the national drink of Poland, so it's really popular in that part of Europe.
Okay.
And
So we're going international.
They're all going to be sweet, right? But they're
Yes.
not. We like to make the meads really well balanced too. So I mean, they're sweet. There's sweetness, but they're balanced in a way that it drinks somewhat like port. Like that one drinks
Okay.
out of all these, that one
I
probably
should've
drinks
done
like
that
port a
better,
little bit more than most.
Because I
Black and red raspberry
do
mead.
enjoy a good port every once in a while.
Yeah.
Now you're
Yeah.
singing
All
my
right,
song.
And
So-
so what we're opening now is a traditional mead. So that is, like Barry said, it's honey, it's water fermented with yeast, and that is it. All of our traditionals
Honey
are
and water.
single varietal meads. So the one we're about to drink is made from blueberry blossoms, which are those little tiny white flowers.
Right.
But that's
it's
where
not
the
going to
honey
taste like
comes
blueberry.
from. Like all the
It's gonna be
bees go to
floral.
blueberry blossoms.
That is
Right.
So there is the subtlety difference there. That's different kinds of honey from different kinds of specific flowers
Right.
that change the flavor of the mead, not artificial flavoring.
And by the way, guys, this is every bit of 14% alcohol. So
And these are a little
Only 14%.
Only.
Yeah, we're holding back. But
A
these
little
are-
less than the beers they usually make.
There's that. But these are a little colder than we'd like them to be, really. But you'll notice as they warm up, they'll open up, and you'll.
Okay, yeah, because it's people is like, why do they put that liquor or that liquor in a freeze thing? It's because they're horrible,
Yeah.
and cold takes away 60% of the flavor. So
In these cups, a quick little,
Oh, yeah.
kind
Don't
of
worry.
grasp it around your.
but
your palm.
we're
Do we
people
shoot it
listen
or
to this
sip
whenever
it?
we're
No,
No,
it's a
well, my
sipper for
first thing
sure.
I would suggest
Sniff
is
it.
give it a good aroma test. Right?
So
give it a
I'm,
good.
I'm putting my nose in it,
That's the way to
and
do it.
I get the blueberry, like almost right off the hit.
Yeah, it's definitely like a fruity honey.
Yeah.
So there's no fruit in this. The honey is literally harvested just from the flowers of the fruit bushes, and the honey itself it is got a little bit of a backbone of fruitiness to it. This other traditional is made with a completely different type of honey, and it's a completely different flavor. It's kind of crazy how different honeys have different flavors.
Without any artificial additions to it.
Nothing.
Because August said something earlier about the flowers, for the blueberry feel from the blueberry flowers, because that's what this is. This actually is taking me back to Cuca Lake in New York. We were actually doing blueberry picking this past summer, and this is kind of reminiscent of what I was smelling when I was in the blueberry patch itself.
So you should get that floral aromatic.
Yeah.
How long does it take to ferment? And then is there any aging that happens with these at all?
All of them are aged at least a few months.
Okay. In what?
Right now we're using a combination of different fermenters. Sometimes wood, but we don't have really a lot of space right now. So we're just kind of aging them in the fermenters.
Okay.
So I think we really want to get into barrel aging. We did release a barrel aged. It was actually aged in a Valentine gin barrel.
Really?
And it was a
That
passion
was
fruit
something
mead.
to behold.
And that mead is up there for my favorites of all the ones that we've released. It's amazing. So.
See, now I don't get an opportunity to do this because my wife, Colleen, she's not into the sweets at all. I'm into the sweeter cocktails, the sweeter drinks.
Cosmos.
She sees me making an old fashioned, and she's pouring sugar in a thing. She's like, "What are you doing?" I go, "I'm making a cocktail." She's like, "Blah." So I had purchased a bottle of mead. And I had it at the house, and she was like, "Oh, look, there's a white wine in the fridge." And she wasn't looking. She cracked it, and she was like, "Good Lord, what are you drinking?" And I'm like, "I bought a mead, honey." And
It's still not as sweet as some of the store-bought Moscatos you can grab. I mean, those are much sweeter.
Generally speaking,
those are wine.
I don't get an opportunity to do it, but I like this.
It's a different viscosity and
that's what Paul talked about. Our meads are, we really strive to make very balanced meads, and when we say balanced, we mean the mouthfeel, that viscosity. It's not too syrupy, but it's not thin. Acidity. All of our meads have acidity to them.
Yeah.
Some more than others, and the amount of acidity might be based on the amount of fruit. We have a black currant mead here that has a lot of acidity. It's one of these here. There you go.
I'm just looking at the legs. We're using little plastic cups, but the legs on this, the oils in the mead, is that something that's prominent in meads? Is the oil part?
You get a lot of leggy meads, because we have a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the alcohol is typically elevated, to 14. Sometimes, I've seen meads as high as 18%. But I think that all comes together to give you that kind of that viscous kind of beverage that's going to have the legs in the glass, and it tends to hang in the glass with the aroma for a long time. Even after you're done drinking it, the glass will still be hanging around with the aroma.
Fair.
So what I'm getting out of this is it's a little more, what I'm going to say, natural. It's like a little more raw. If there was a fruit in here, I would say that the rinds or the husks were in it. It's a natural taste, an earthy, not quite earthy,
close. It goes that way.
It is
but
I would describe it as some earthiness.
okay, all right.
That's a word we use a lot.
All right,
I think a lot of traditional meads get an earthiness to them.
All right.
Honey, if you ferment honey all the way out to dry, like a dry white wine, you'd be surprised. The flavor is a lot different than you think it would be. You're pretty much just left with flowers, right? It's like, so it's earthy. It just is that way.
like a flower blossom of some sort and an earthy mix is what I get out of it.
What I wish you had what I wish we had with us would be some of the actual honey we use, so you could compare the raw honey to the fermented beverage version.
Oh, so
That is a
blueberry
fun thing to
blossom traditional mead.
And that's one of the things of a good mead, from what I'm understanding, is that for me, it took me back to a place. Right, it took me back to when I was blueberry picking, and that's where this is coming from.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That is just a telltale sign of a very good spirit, if you will.
So,
right?
but you
Well,
said
for
this
us, that's
one
a high compliment.
You said this one was
No,
just
thank you.
honey.
Matt's a very sensitive guy.
You said this was
Shut up! You don't know me.
So am I.
so in here you
We'll
said
hug it out later.
you said this is just What is in this?
Just honey, water, and yeast.
Honey, water, and yeast. So why are you calling it blueberry blossom traditional mead?
It's a blueberry blossom honey.
Like-
Those
like-
bees
Oh,
ate
it's a blueberry
nectar
blossom.
from-
So the bees
I'll shut up
literally
now.
flew to blueberry blossoms.
We did this 20 minutes ago.
This one is. This other
catching
one
up.
we have.
Welcome to the podcast,
I'm
Jamie.
catching up. Okay.
I thought that's what that.
So how do
bell
you
was for.
know? I mean, you're like, hey, Steve the bee. How do you know Steve the bee? It's like, Steve. No, seriously, Steve. Today, I need you to go to the blueberries and hit the blueberry blossoms because we're doing the blueberry blossoms.
Well,
How do you control
make sure
that?
Steve understands that by dropping his house right in the middle of the blueberry patch.
Okay.
Yeah, so
the-
monoculture is the reason that it's available.
All right.
And you'll see, if you keep your eyes open, you'll see semis going down the road. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
With bee boxes on the back of them. You're like, wait a minute, are those beehives? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and so they're taking them to different places
Yeah.
To pollinate.
Right. I'll
First
give you an
and
example
foremost.
here. This other mead we brought is meadow foam honey. Meadow foam grows in Oregon. This honey, if you taste the raw honey, it tastes like super vanilla-y marshmallows. If marshmallows were natural and grew on trees,
Right.
that's what it would taste like.
Yeah,
This traditional mead that looks almost identical to the one you're drinking will taste radically different.
Oh, it's totally different. Yeah.
I would suggest maybe we open this one and
Yeah.
compare.
Yeah,
I think
let's
we
do
should.
it.
Don't threaten us again.
Yeah, don't crack that without a good time.
So
Come
going
on.
back to
All
how,
right.
so going
And
back
then
to how
we
you
have
know.
orange blossom honey. We have
Yeah, how do you know?
raspberry
It's like a
blossom
thermos.
honey.
It's like
They all
it's
taste
hot,
very
it's cold.
different.
How does it know? How does it?
Well, a bee can fly 5 miles in any direction from the hive, right? So, I mean, you really have to have monoculture for that. Now, there's no true definition of like these varietal honeys as far as it's not regulated really. So you're kind of just going off the word of the beekeeper.
Okay.
But the thing is, with monoculture,
you can tell.
well, with monoculture, you can basically say that 80% of what the bees are collecting are from this flower.
Okay.
Now, with
That'll be the dominant
meadow foam's
flavor.
a little different. Meadow foam, the reason they know that is meadow foam is because at that time of year, it's pretty much the only thing blooming.
Fair enough.
Now, there's going to be some wildflowers mixed in, but for the most part, it's meadow foam.
All right.
But that
And if
gives
you
it
two
some
have finished
character,
your blueberry
you know?
blossom, I would recommend pouring another glass so you can really
Yeah.
side by side those, get a feel
Although
for
you'll notice the difference.
the
right
difference.
away. Yeah.
The flavor difference between
Oh, wow.
varietal honeys can be the difference
Just
between
this-
an IPA, a pilsner, a saison, and a stout.
The nose, I think I got some not like grass,
Completely different.
like tall grass, but not like lawn grass, like
But
tall
again, there's
meadow
no
grass.
other ingredients
I
besides
already know
the
that
honey,
this will taste
water, and
very
yeast.
different
That's
from the
insane.
blueberry.
Just from the aroma.
Yeah, just from the aroma itself. I'm like getting a little saffron on there almost. I don't know why.
My wife said she thought it had saffron to it.
yeah.
I agree with that.
All right.
See, I still get like a baking spice kind of thing.
A little bit, yep.
Wow.
See, that's sweeter on the back end for me.
This is a
This
sweeter
is a
mead.
sweeter mead.
Yeah.
We
This
one's
finished,
actually sweeter,
This
yeah.
one finished with more residual sugar.
And it's
Oh,
a very
there's
different.
all kinds of stuff happening there on your tongue.
Yeah, this one's super complex. It's one of my favorite traditionals we've made. We love making traditional meads just because you can see how honey is so much different from one to another. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Grassy, very grassy. Not bad grassy, but then like long, tall meadow grass. It's the meadow meat.
Vision. I
Like
can see
the
that
hills
vision.
are alive with
Yeah.
the sound of bees.
I got that vision. Sure.
I bet you don't have conversations like this with whiskey, do you?
Not
Depends on who's here.
I'll tell you something. A nice whiskey and maybe like a mead chaser like this is really nice because you get that, you get all those really nice bourbon
We can
flavors.
make that happen.
And that
Yeah.
little sweetness,
Yeah, that's
just saying.
I could just see that, you said with a mead chaser.
Yeah, just something to sort
little
of blend-
sidecar.
Yeah, a little sidecar
sidecar?
of mead. I would have, for me, I'd like a nice good pour of a really nice bourbon, and then I'll take a mead like this in a small little cup and just kind of sip it, alternate it. And
I like that idea.
Can I
I've
get a
never done that.
Makers with a mead back? Is that what it
you
called?
can get whatever you
Makers
want.
of the mead.
Well, think about it. Whiskey manufacturers are putting honey in them. Of course,
Yeah.
a lot of them are whiskeys that need to be hidden with honey, but
Yeah,
that's another
Wow.
episode.
Well,
definitely
yeah.
concur with that.
So what's the shelf life on something like this once it's open?
Well, these corks they're high quality corks.
They have
and
the
they're rated.
triaxial name on the corks too.
Oh yeah,
yeah, fancy.
Branded.
We had to go.
Yeah.
We had to go and make.
They don't
sure
F
we did
around.
No.
it. So, but the, I mean, I would say the shelf life on these is in excess of 10 years.
With the cork.
Wow.
Yeah.
With the cork in
Yeah,
it. Okay, good,
uncorked.
good, good.
Stored properly and everything,
Open.
right? Now, after you open it, I mean, I actually forgot about one for like maybe like a week and a half, and it still tasted pretty good. I mean, when you look at like vermouth and stuff like that, you don't want it sitting around too long either. This probably has a little bit less time than that after it's open, but I mean, like if you buy a couple
Grandma
bottles,
had the same bottle of vermouth on the bar for 20 years. What you talking
it had
about?
to taste terrible.
I know.
It had to taste
It's
terrible.
like my
And it
parents
does say
had
it
the same-
refrigerate when open, but it's been sitting down there.
I've recorked our meads and stuck them in the refrigerator and come back to them 3-4 weeks later. And are they at 100% of what they were when you drink it?
Probably,
But I would
yeah.
I would argue 90.
Yeah,
Right.
Like it's still very
Still
good.
very
60% of
drinkable.
this is still goddamn delicious.
You said, and then you said stored properly. What is a proper way to store mead?
Just like wine, like in your cellar in the basement where it's cool like all the time.
Right.
Not a lot of lights.
fluctuation.
On its side.
Dark
Yep,
light.
on
Okay.
the side. Yeah,
Store
exactly.
it in a cool, dry
Right.
place.
And like Paul said, these are really high quality corks. It's real cork. It's not those corks where it's like compressed cork, but it's just got the real
quirky
disc on
corks.
the top and bottom.
Right.
It's real cork all the way through. And so yeah, you gotta treat it good.
And these will all improve with age from when they're packaged. I'd say most of the ones we make probably will peak in flavor sometime around between 3 and 5 years.
Oh, wow.
And then like that Parallax has a lot of tannin and acidity. That, I mean, I don't know. Sky's the limit. I want to hold on to a couple bottles of that and open them in like 5-6 years and see what it's like.
I was always told that white wines, those flavors won't change over time, like a red will. Is it the same with the lighter versus the? I mean, the honey is just a different.
I don't think that.
No,
It's a
yeah.
different
because-
fruit
because
juice.
that
it's a
has to
different
do
juice.
with tannins and
Yeah.
certain
Okay.
things in the grape juice that don't exist
Don't
in the
exist
mead.
in the meads.
A traditional mead really is not much different than these fruited meads in terms of what's in them, other than the fruit juice. But in terms of aging, that is,
Sure.
it's gonna.
would
I've had
think-
traditional meads that I've had a few turn on me too, but
Yeah.
like homebrew meads that I made years
Oh,
ago.
yeah.
I opened a bee nectar mead recently that was 7-8 years old, and it was drinking beautifully. And I opened a different one, and part of it might have been my fault for bad storage on it, and it was still decent, but had fallen off.
So do you reject the term honey wine when people ask
No,
about mead?
it's
That's
honey
okay.
wine.
It's honey wine.
I use it
Okay.
often,
That's what it is.
actually.
Yeah.
It's probably a better descriptor.
Well, because,
most
like,
folks don't know
The
what
question
mead
we're
is.
most often asked when new people show up is, well, what is mead, right? I don't know what mead is. I've heard of it, right? And honey wine is the best descriptor you can give. It's wine made with honey instead of grape juice. So,
Sure.
so it's fair.
So,
we
question
might
for
work
you.
our way into calling it mead.
So these are
Yeah.
350 or 375 milliliter
Stop
bottles.
it, Jamie.
Oh, is that where you're going?
You're stealing my
The
question.
last caller stole my thunder. Matthew, did
We
you
both-
notice the size of that bottle?
I did, because I'm looking at what you
Tell
have
me
on
about
table.
the size, Matthew.
You really want to
All right,
go down this
No,
road?
go ahead. Go. I'm sorry. I'm 12. Go ahead.
No, so
I'm wearing
looking
the
at
Toys R Us shirt.
I don't want to grow up. I'm 12 years old. 375 milliliter bottle. That's what the blueberry is in.
They're all
They're all
375.
375.
These are all 375s?
Yeah. It's just those are I was,
Different
I was-
brands of bottles.
I'll
sometimes.
tell you the
Well,
reason. I'll tell you the
squatting-
reason in a bit after your question.
Yeah,
All right.
so packaging for mead, is this a traditional packaging bottle size for mead, or
You'll see it a lot. I think that. I mean, how often do you see ice wine in a 750?
Right. Yeah.
Never.
fair?
I mean, it's just a better format for mead. Now, that being said, I've thrown around the idea of maybe we make a little bit less high-end mead that's in a 750, but
Right.
I don't know. I just like this format. It's a good size to share. Typically, meads aren't really poured much bigger than a 3-ounce pour.
Okay.
So I mean, it's me personally, I think 375 is a great format. 500 is good.
Okay.
Something you don't see as often, but I
But
don't
it
know.
depends on how often you're going to drink it, right? Because if you're at a 500 milliliter bottle, you may not. You have to go back to it a lot more often.
How
Yeah,
often
you got to
and
drink
how
it
many
all in a
people,
sitting, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And
that-
375 to 500, whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Right. And
Whatever
mead
it-
is also,
whatever it
mead
takes.
is not cheap to make. Good quality meads out there can run in, anywhere from $23 for a 375 up to, you can find them out in stores just in this area from say 22, 23 bucks up through 40, 45 bucks.
And you are on the shelves
Yeah,
here.
and
We are on
we're
shelves.
going to get to that
But
because
the
I'll
price,
wait,
you know,
I'll wait.
keeping it at
We're gonna-
375
yeah.
keeps the price down to 20s and 30s.
Sure.
Sugar
And-
shock's
Imagine a
an
750, you're looking at $50 bottles.
They
Right,
do
right.
keep, but you don't want a Magnum to,
Right.
to have to deal with and drink. I mean, in my house, it would go, but it's a night in the hot tub, and that's that for that. But
Right. They are great for passing around at a party.
yes,
I mean, people are always like, "Whoa, what the?"
Yeah, and it's
yeah.
it's cool
What's
because
that?
like it breaks up. A lot of times, like people are just drinking like IPAs or something, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it just kind of breaks it up. It's like something. It's something cool and different to try, and it's they're great for that kind of thing. They really are.
but the Meadow one, that is like just a palate cleanser almost.
Well,
It's,
the beauty of it is
it
the fact
just-
that there's no artificial flavors in those. They are straight, just the honey
yeah.
sourced.
Yeah, our
I went
meads
back
don't have
for
anything
seconds
artificial, never
on the
will.
monofloral.
never will.
So
I
So-
just
Well, that's to say, like, it's not a fruited mead. Not
So
saying
you'll
like
notice
artificial.
the-
I mean, there's no additional flavors.
Right,
What I'm
no,
not saying.
different
no
bottles.
adjuncts.
Yeah.
The reason-
Artificial was the wrong term. I apologize.
Because
to my
with-
craftsman
yeah.
friends,
With,
I apologize.
Well, we only use like the whole fruit. And,
right.
yeah.
Yes.
with a bourbon and a whiskey, it's you brew it from it's in the barrel. It goes in the bottle. Game over. That's it. That bottle is that bottle now. And 20 years from now, it's not like, oh, I got this 20-year-old bottle of Canadian Club out of my parents'
got a tax
basement.
stamp
You know-
on it.
do you
Don't
know
get
how
any
many
dust in my
people
glass
have
when you
that?
pour it.
How much better is this going to be? It's like, well,
good luck.
Yeah, pretty much the only thing it has to go for it at that point is if
Not
it's
a-
rare or not, right?
or
So-
even none of them are, but none of those
Yeah.
Canadian Clubs.
That's just collector crap then.
I had one, but I was like, oh, just it. And I'm like, I was searching. I'm like, it's nothing.
All right,
But,
we got to pick another one out here. So we have
but-
four more
but-
choices.
But these, it living in the bottle does a little something.
It does a
something
little
for these
something.
Oh yeah,
guys.
they,
That's a little
they
something.
definitely mature.
That's
Mike,
great.
which one are we picking?
What do you think?
Let's
I
go
think
dark. Let's go.
Yeah,
something
we're going to
dark.
go dark
Take
at this
me-
point. Is this the
take me to
poached,
the
by the
dark
way?
side. That's the
This is the poached. I think we go with the blueberry.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice.
Blueberry.
It's silky
This is a
smooth.
mead. This
Well,
was
why don't we
our-
read? I'd like to read that if I could. The description on the back of the blue,
So-
the blurb
yeah.
on the back of the blue note.
Actually,
I know the
before
guy that
you
wrote
open
it. It's
he's gonna
it's quite
tilt that.
impressive.
He's going to have to tilt.
Are
that.
there are there little?
Read it before we open it.
So the blueberry blossom. That
Do not drink if you're pregnant, are considering impregnation. I don't. What's so fascinating about that?
Other side.
Oh, the other side. Okay.
Wow.
so
that got
the
dark.
blurb, and these do have blurbs on the side of them.
They do. They
They
do.
do.
We call them the liner notes.
I'm
Liner
just
notes.
being a
So the blue note, jazz's flex that takes a tone from ordinary to dreamland.
Dreamland.
An ensemble of wild blueberries provides, I don't have my readers, the rich berry flavor
You're old.
for the mead. A sip of smooth fruit delights. A breath reveals the rose petal nuance that takes her blue note up the register.
Wow, you can read,
Wow.
Augie. Wow, I'm impressed.
Mellow Madagascar vanilla, the hip backbeat to our melody of fruit and honey. Take 5 and dig this mead with our favorite cool cat.
Ah, nice.
August Gitschlag.
And these are all Maine wild blueberries, so these aren't your typical grocery store blueberries.
Yeah, these are the low bush berries, and they're the cool thing about those is that when like you get the blueberries from the store, inside is actually like a yellowish color. Almost.
Okay.
Those blueberries they're dark all the way through. So
Where's
they've
the
been,
blue
they've been
food?
sitting for a while on,
It's here.
on the branch itself.
it's
Now
just a
we
different
found the
variety of
blue food.
blueberry.
Okay.
Yeah.
These are Maine wild blueberries.
Where's the blue food?
Yeah,
Fresh cup.
fresh cup.
Personally,
cut.
guys, I think this one, and they have one called 321 Jam, right?
Yeah.
I absolutely love them.
Yeah, if you
This
let
one's
those-
this one's near and dear to my heart because I
Yeah.
had a part in this.
3-2-1 Let's Jam is blackberry.
This one in
with-
particular?
with, heirloom rhubarb.
Yes. Okay.
Ooh, I got the blueberry right off the nose.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't miss it.
Take one
Yeah,
down,
it'll let
pass
you know
it
it's
around.
there.
I have
Cannot miss it.
a college buddy who was the head of cocoa and vanilla exportation for Madagascar.
Really?
And we were just shooting the crap one night at Coonan's, and Barry goes, "Yeah, we're going to do some stuff with vanilla." I go, "I got a vanilla guy." He's like, in Madagascar. And if he wasn't in Madagascar, he was in Lansing because he left to become the Deputy Secretary of Agriculture for the state of Michigan.
Holy shit.
And so I messaged him right there. He goes, "What do you need? Where do you want me to send it? Venmo me. We'll do this." and bang,
was done.
bag of vanilla beans shows up
yeah.
from Madagascar, and that is what's in this product.
Yeah, Harry Weaver just checked in. He said,
Harry.
"Hey,
Hi, Harry,
He
thanks.
said,
Harry.
Hey,
Lil
Harry.
Coy is the goat." Yeah.
Lillicoy is that passion fruit
The-
mead aged in gin.
Yeah,
barrels.
that was a thing.
Yeah.
I think I might have one at home. I have like 4 bottles of your stuff.
I think I sadly only have one left.
Yeah,
The-
Lillicoy is,
Gotta take inventory.
that's hard to get now.
Yeah.
The nose on the blueberry that we're diving into is very similar to the original one, the standard mead.
I
For me,
actually
for
got-
me, with a little bit more.
Yeah,
I
there's
want to dump it on vanilla ice cream.
Well, we used
it's more traditional
Yep.
blueberry.
the
you know,
base
on the-
honey
on the
is
taste,
also
yeah.
blueberry blossom honey.
Fair play,
So we did
okay.
use the same base honey for this as we did the blueberry
Ooh,
blossom.
that's
tradition.
resting.
So how did
That's
this?
resting really
How did
nice.
this? And these seems like because it's volume 1, volume 2. Is this musical in some way? And you
Yes.
said a jam, and
I mean, we all
This
like
was Paul's
music,
idea.
so- Well, the monofloral thing, I was like, I wanted to come up with a way to just like say, hey, these are all these traditionals we're doing, and so we came up with the monofloral series. And I don't know, it's just like I just thought it would be cool to just have a new volume like every time we do a new, because there's so many different honeys out there. There's
Yeah.
literally like I keep finding new ones.
And we've just
Wow.
scratched the
Yeah.
surface, with 3 or 4 of them.
Sure.
Hundreds.
so for a run of you're going to do the monofloral, right, and you're going to do the mead foam blossom. How much honey do you have to get? I mean, how big of a order are you?
Well,
we're
doing
buying
about
by pails right now.
Yeah, we're
How many?
doing by the pail.
Pails, like they're 5-gallon pails.
Okay.
We're doing
60
about
pounds.
240 bottle runs, give or take 20. Depending on how the recipe turns out and that. And
So
we're
a
using,
pail, how many pails for a bottle run?
So you're talking about anywhere from 10 to 15 gallons of honey,
Yeah,
So 3 pails?
2 to 3.
2 to 3. Yeah.
They mix with water and then
Yeah,
the other
yeah.
ingredients. And,
Sure.
And then the amount of fruit, there.
So 3 pails of honey.
like 4
That's a
pounds
lot
per
of
gallon.
honey, though. If
Right.
you think honey
We're
in
talking-
hives and you pull them out,
heavy.
it's like
it's thick.
For
It's
this
heavy.
for this
And-
mead you're drinking now, we're talking about 150 pounds of honey and at least 100 pounds of the blueberries.
Greg checked in. He asked why nobody was cursing. Barry?
Shit.
Well-
I gotta get a little deeper into these.
There was some swearing.
I will
get a little
release
bit.
the Irishman within.
yeah, we were.
Yeah, I was a little confused by that. I was like, is Barry here?
I just was surprised we were doing something live. I was like, there's going to be mistakes.
Oh yeah.
Mistakes have been
There's
made.
no mistakes in the Man Cave Happy Hour.
No,
It's
there
all
isn't.
just,
Honestly,
we just keep
right?
rolling with it.
Just happy accidents.
That's right.
Happy accidents.
Happy
Put in a
tree.
little
But
tree.
I have to be honest
That's
with you,
it.
fellas. With this one that we're just drinking on with the blueberry, I'm like, nah, this is Welch's grape juice. It tastes that good.
Yeah, it's really smooth.
It'll catch up. What's the
Smooth as
alcohol
honey.
percentage on this?
About
guy?
14.
Yeah.
Are
that's
they all 14?
I mean,
Generally close to.
our first monofloral was 13.
Okay.
We have a Sizer, which is an apple honey wine. That one actually got up to 15. So I mean, it's everyone's a little different, but we're always like in that range, 13 to 15. Right
Sure.
in there, so.
We're not making billy clubs to hit somebody over the head with, really. Right.
So we're coming from the bourbon world.
But the
where it's
bottles
like-
are heavy
yeah.
if in a pinch.
Right.
They're doing this much of it, and it's 110
Right.
proof.
I pulled a bottle out the other day, and August cussed me out, and he called it demon liquid or something. It was like it
Devil-
was like,
devil juice? Is that what you called it?
Yeah, it was like 150 proof,
Yeah,
and he was like
that barrel pick stuff. It just doesn't. No,
Wasn't
thank
that the
you.
1920?
It was a 1792. Yeah, the
Yes,
1792.
that's what it
There you go.
was.
The cask.
We were live at the whiskey festival
Yeah,
at
yeah,
that
we-
whiskey. Yeah.
Hand me that devil juice.
I gotta-
When that's the first thing you have all night, it just wrecks your mouth.
I got this fun bottle from A&B Liquor. Let's try this. And he looked at it. He's like, this.
I
you
swore
called
on
it a
I swore on the podcast.
devil something. You called it a devil. It was fun.
Devil piss or something. It was just if it had been like the fifth thing I had that day, it would not have hit me in the
Right. But
Kicks you in the tonsils like
with
that.
the sweetness and the flavors, the higher alcohol content would mess it up. Could you go higher than 13, 14?
You were saying you've seen 17, 18?
Yeah.
If you
a lot of it
manipulated
depends
it?
on the yeast. There's different types of yeast that you can use, and some have higher alcohol tolerances than others. It just so happens that a lot of the ones we picked happen to fall in that 14%.
Okay.
Now the yeast I use on the Sizer actually I've gotten that to go to 18%. And actually that one did go up quite a bit, but I back sweetened it, so it brought the alcohol down a little bit.
Yeah.
So It's definitely, and back sweetening just means that you're just adding. In that case, I added more honey and
said
apple juice to it.
back
or
sweetening?
apple cider
Sweetening.
Back sweetening.
Yeah, we do it in wine too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just breaking it down a
because
little bit.
what will happen is you'll ferment too much sugar out, and it just isn't sweet enough
Sure.
to really support the flavors you're trying to get.
Okay.
Like I think personally, all these years I like for a long time I tried to make drier meads because I wanted them drier. But I'm here to tell you after like I don't know how many hundreds of batches I've done commercially that it's really hard to get a mead to taste good with a lower sugar content.
Really?
And to be honest with you, the people that are like really into this kind of stuff don't want it. They just don't buy it.
I was going to say, who is your target audience? Who are the mead drinkers of America?
I mean, there's just
and
mead
in
drinkers.
Michigan?
There's just people that are just into meads.
Yeah.
These
The
days.
people
There's a
with
mead
the elf
community out
ears
there.
at the
There are subsets of that community.
A lot of cosplayers.
I mean,
Is
there
that
is
what we
there is
got?
some of that, but it's definitely not that's definitely not the prevalent kind of feel. It's a lot of people that are just into like interesting things, like that they're looking for something different. Those are the kind of people that gravitate towards mead. Although I had some friends come down that they were like, we weren't really sure we were going to like these because we don't typically like meads, but we love your meads, and that's always a good compliment because we do feel like we try to make meads that are approachable for people. Because there are meads out there that are like really really sweet, and it gets to that point where it's like, okay, now it's just cloying and it's like hard to drink. And, if you're battling through a glass, I mean, I don't know, personally, that's not enjoyable to me. We try to make our mead so that you're enjoying it and you want another glass,
Sure. And we also want to make sure everybody shows up. And when I say everybody, I mean everybody in that bottle.
Right.
So if you're going to taste the blueberry, you're going to get the honey. And if you throw too much fruit in there, you just, you'll
you
hide
lose the
honey.
vanilla. You lose the marshmallow
Sure.
flavor
Yep.
that you're hoping for out of that
Right.
one flavor.
Going back to your question about who is our target audience.
Target audience, yeah.
Like I said, there are mead communities out there. There are folks that are just into craft beer. Homebrewers are really mead's huge in the homebrewing community now, so we get a lot of homebrewers. People we know, people we don't know, show up for that. I call them the mead bros, and I am a recovering mead bro myself, so this is not an insult, but they're out there trading certain meads that are hard to come by, like they're out there trading them like bourbon.
Wow.
Okay.
There's
Because you're
mead
not a mead bro, because you're a mead don.
That's right. But no, there are meads out there. I have some meads in my basement right
For a
now that
favor
I've got
next
from there's a meadery out in Chicago called Pips, and they have a couple different meads that people are trading for an equal value of $600-700 right now.
Really? On
Yeah,
a
so-
like a 350 or a 500 milliliter bottle?
375s.
Yep.
Wow.
So I know people who have traded bottles of mead for super high end bourbons, for super rare beer releases.
Well,
even
let's get
super rare
in. Let's get
wines.
into while we're there. Let's. What is the suggested retail value of the Triaxial Meads when people find them out and about? What are they going to find when they're trying to purchase these? Are they,
all of these they're ranging from 28 to 30 on the shelf, depending on the retailer.
Okay.
We were going to talk about that because August, you brought this up earlier. He's like, you guys are on the shelves. Where can folks find you guys? Out in the community.
The best thing to do is go to our website because I think we're in like 25 accounts. So it would take a lot for me to list them all.
Fair enough.
Is it Michigan? Are you outside of Michigan, Midwest? Where
Michigan.
We could distribute out of Michigan, but we just don't have the volume to do so
Okay.
right now.
That's
But
a lot
we have
of,
all
that's milking a lot of bees, man.
Now
That's like-
we do direct ship though, so if you go on our website, then you can go and order. We don't ship to every state, but I mean,
That's
They do releases.
triaxialmeads.com. I repeat, triaxialmeads.com.
And they have a Facebook page, and they have events that they launch, and that's how I know. I just
And
get the
that'll all
alerts,
be-
and I show up at their events, and I buy 5 or 6 bottles, and yeah.
that'll be linked in the
100%.
comments.
We've shipped meads
Everything.
to Texas, Florida, North Carolina, a couple others I can't remember.
So, but milking the bees, that's really difficult, right?
milking bees. Yeah, I
Milking.
imagine that'd be very difficult.
Yeah, that's not quite how it's
You
done.
might-
No,
but
that's
That's up to the queen to do that.
They get an attitude.
all right, but you do the direct shipping, which is COVID was a colossal pain in the backside and killed several million people, but it did open up commerce for a lot of spirits in a different way that was allowed before, and they haven't closed those doors. Are you afraid that they might close doors on you that have been opened here?
For us, it's not an issue because you've always been able to ship wine.
Oh, okay.
It's
Right
really
on. Wine.
spirits and beer.
Okay.
That kind of opened up to wine levels.
Sure.
And
Right.
we're classified legally as a wine,
Okay.
so we're good. We can ship.
Game on.
We can ship to 37 states, and
Okay.
the 13 we can't ship to. Actually, 37 including DC. So the 14 we can't ship to. Is
They need
because
to
they
get a
don't
clue.
because those states aren't allowing wine in.
Sure.
You can imagine there's states like Utah, for example,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
They,
Coffee's against the rules.
yeah, exactly.
It's Utah. What do you want?
right. So, but we'll ship you some mead.
All right.
So let me ask the question because we have the bottles of mead, but then I'm also seeing 2 cans that say Vivid Grove Cellars on them. So what are those? Because I see sangria spirits on them too.
Spritz.
Spritz.
Yep.
Spritz. Okay.
Well,
Spritz. I thought it.
So this is an idea Mike and I were throwing around like, God, what was that?
4 years ago at this point.
Yeah, and we had
Before we started Triaxial.
yeah,
Right.
and
Okay.
this was when I had my Brewworks brand, which we won't get into today, but we were doing a sampling, and Mike helped me that day, and he's like, "Man, what if we did these like carbonated, lower alcohol sangrias or something?" And I was like, "Dude, that sounds amazing."
So
Because all
take
the
a mead
sangrias in
and
the
turn it
market
into
are
a sangria.
heavy,
Right.
thick, viscous, and really
Sure.
kind of gross.
Yep.
Yeah, so
it's called Zoshimokos.
so we actually literally like
I got the recipe.
we actually literally like made test batches. We made like 5-gallon test batches, and we passed them out to friends and stuff. And literally, like
did a
everyone was
survey.
going crazy over it.
We got a lot of feedback.
Yep. And I mean, honestly, like it took a long time for us to get it like finally finished. But I mean, I don't know. Like I think I don't know. I think we're gonna do really well with it. So we launched it last summer. And we're doing self-distribution, so it's a little bit challenging to get all the retailers and stuff, but
Yeah.
I really want to focus on restaurants this year.
Okay.
Especially places by lakes and stuff like that. Like, I mean, look at that. Like, who doesn't want to take that on their boat?
That's gorgeous. Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, that's dangerous coming out of a cooler.
Yeah.
Ice water. It's like,
What's
wow.
the alcohol content?
These are only 6, so these are meant to like session, to have a few.
As Barry would say, you can drink a few of them and not feel dumb.
And
I feel dumb all the time.
And the beauty
so.
of these things is, they're all wine and fruit. There's no bullshit in these things. Ooh.
you
Finally.
swore. You
There it
swore,
is.
Barry.
Oh,
There
About
you go.
time.
He popped
Organically too. He didn't force it. It just
Yeah.
kind of naturally came out.
Greg, it happened. I got to tell you.
It's one of my favorite words too. Anyway, but it's good stuff. It's all
You can have it out of the can.
it's all good stuff.
And the one you're drinking now is what we call our tropical peach. So it's a Michigan white wine base. And it has peach as the sort of your main player, obviously. It's got some mango, lemon, lime, orange, and ginger. A little touch of ginger at the end.
I like that. Yeah, I got the. I'm susceptible to suggestions, but
The power of persuasion compels you. The power of persuasion compels you.
I am getting the ginger.
Yeah. This is
You're a little bit of a
this stuff
ginger.
is dating, and it happens all the time. He actually is a ginger. He's just too old now.
A recovering ginger, yes.
A matured ginger.
But it is mead one of the properties in here?
Nope.
Nope.
No?
This is wine.
This
Completely
is,
different
So these are
color.
just the
Wine and
wines.
fruit
Yep.
juice.
It's a spritz, right?
this is this is a big left turn from
Okay.
me. It's just another product. Like I said, we had this idea, and we just finally got to the point where
Vivid
we're in a
Grove?
position where we could try to get it out there, and it's also it's in 20, 25 stores, something like
Okay.
that.
Okay. In Michigan only?
Yep.
Or?
Yeah.
But all
again,
the meads
you can
and the
buy these online,
sangrias,
too.
basically southeast Michigan, and then a few stores around Grand Rapids.
So if we're here in Southfield right now at the beautiful Podcast Your Voice studios, what's the prominent market we could get this at? Like Royal Oak, somewhere like that?
Holiday market.
Yeah, holiday
There you go.
market.
Market?
There you go.
Oh,
Our
hey.
listener base is probably holiday market people.
Yeah.
Right down the street from my house. Here
There
we
you go. Right.
There's a few on the
All
west
right.
side, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long day. I can't remember all the retailers off the top
No,
of
I
my
was
head
just
right now.
VividGroveCellars.com.
There it
Find
is.
us.
Yeah.
I know you want to be in Kroger and Meyer and all that, but it's right
Yeah.
now.
We
you're
don't.
in
We
the-
we
Holiday
can't
market's
make
a
enough
good
to be
deal.
able
yeah,
to
you
say
can't
that.
make enough, right? You can't.
Right.
produce
Holiday
enough.
market around here is the bigger market that has it.
Yeah, yeah.
Ann Arbor Farms.
Okay.
She does well with it there.
Zaytuna's Liquor in
yeah, Zaytuna.
Rochester.
And
And everybody loves the
Neighbors
tunas.
shop in
Area.
Berkeley.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the neighbor shop. That's a cool little store if you've never been
That's a
in there.
great little store.
Which one was that?
The neighbor shop. It's in downtown Berkeley.
Oh,
It's just it's a really
About
cool
1 mile
like.
from here.
That's right here. That's right down the street.
Yeah,
She's got a
1 mile
little,
east
she's
of
got a
here.
little kitchen. She's got some really good food, and then
Great pizzas.
just a really cool little shop. Yeah, she's got a lot of local stuff there.
Love it.
So, but
crack-
yeah,
let's
I mean,
crack the other one.
again, if you go to our website, like if you go to triaxial.com, you'll find Vivid Grove as well,
Yep.
and these can be bought online as well.
Yep.
Triaxialmead.com.
Triaxial Meads, plural.com.
Meads.
Yep. And then
MEADS.
vividgrovesellers.com.
Underscore hashtag.
As long as you go to one, I've got a link to
ampersand,
the other. So, and you can Google
dot,
it. We're indexed on Google, so
But if you start searching Triaxial Mead, you'll come across it. And again, all the links will be in the
In the show notes?
descriptions and show notes and what have you.
This
Yes.
other
like and subscribe.
This other sangria looks and smells like the sangria that I was expecting. This is a
Okay, that
So-
that looks
try this one.
ready sangria.
wow.
this one is a red wine base, of course, Michigan red wine based, and it's got blackberry, cherry, and then some citrus.
Can you
lemon, lime.
divulge
No cherry-
what
no cherry
Michigan
raspberry.
wine you're in cahoots with?
It's a Michigan wine.
All right, fair enough.
But yeah, I could see this in some
it's
ice and with the oranges floating
Oh, yeah.
in it, and it's just like whoa.
Because it's on the
Okay.
it's on the same parallel, up on the wine side of Michigan.
It's somewhere here.
In the
hand, somewhere in the hand,
Somewhere below the bridge.
somewhere in the hand, below the bridge. All right.
troll wine.
One of the really cool things
the
about
bridge.
this particular product.
Are we trolls to those people up there?
Yeah, we are trolls.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
One
One of the
pretty
things-
much are. Yeah.
One of the things about this product, though, is we try to do rule of thumb tasting. With people like, do you usually drink white wine? Do you usually drink red wine?
Oh.
And so our white wine drinkers will drink the red one and go, well, I like that one better. So it...
And
really-
vice versa.
And absolutely. And so people make different decisions based on these things.
Well, I mean, we've jumped on a few different tastes
Right.
here today. I've
We
had
really
some water
have.
in between. Of the serious, nice red wine sweet tart thing happening with this. It's sweet. It's tart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
a nice sweet tart.
It's that
I'm
balance
enjoying
we're
the-
going to keep talking about over and
Yep,
over.
yep.
That's
I thoroughly enjoy. I see where you're coming from, Augie, with an orange slice and what have you. This is dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah.
In such a great way.
Yeah,
This
it
guy
says
is-
brunch all day.
Yeah.
Right.
And like August said too, ice cold on a boat.
Oh, that peach
out of
one
a
is
cooler
yeah.
of
dangerous.
ice.
I've done that.
There's
Just-
no
you're
guarantee
done.
my pants will be on at the end of the day. Just saying.
God, I thought he was going to say podcast.
Yeah. Oh no, this it was a nice tart.
Fortunately, we don't have a cooler of ice here. Fortunately, so
It was yeah.
It's all right.
There was shrinkage.
So these are retailing around $11, $12 for a 4-pack.
4-pack.
Yep.
All right.
That's-
That's on par with the other specialty things out there.
Yeah.
I would say
Yeah.
it's even maybe a touch under par.
Yeah.
for,
Well,
for
Some
a
of
lot
them,
that
well,
stuff.
especially because prices just keep going up every day.
Oh
but-
yeah, yeah.
But for some of the canned wines and stuff, we are right in the middle of the price points.
Yeah. That is brilliant. I really enjoyed this.
isn't that fantastic? It's like it
Augie,
really is good.
You like it? You like it in the can?
Such a loaded question.
Good night, everybody.
I was trying. I was
And
trying.
you guys were worried about me.
I was
Hey,
trying.
everybody likes big cans.
There you go.
So
Fair
yeah,
point.
Harry actually checked in and he said, they're nice with a drop of little bit of gin.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Oh,
Toss
yeah.
some
So,
gin in
hey,
there?
Harry, so
This is why I
gin
love
is my
Harry
secret
Weaver.
weapon when I make just sangria at home. So,
Yeah.
yes,
Oh, really?
absolutely, I agree with the gin.
We'll have to talk about
Really?
gin after we're done here this evening.
Really,
yes.
really, really.
Yep. So when I was still working at B Nectar, we were making this product called Wildberry Pyment. So it was like a mead made with grapes, right? And it had berries in it. So it was a lot like this flavor profile. So, but that was like 14%. So what I'd do is I'd take a couple bottles of that, some gin,
What are you doing, August?
and then a bunch of fruit, and it was amazing.
The bulldog.
Oh, you're gonna mix them?
I've mixed them. It's good.
There you go.
This isn't.
You
This
tend to
isn't
need
crack-
about.
I don't think I've ever
crack it.
had that gin.
We've had that.
If you're going to mix them, I would recommend about 2 to 1 peach to the berry.
No, this is. Oh no, that's.
See, we need to
You've
talk
got the
about
berry.
gin, Paul, after we're done with this.
Okay.
I thought
I
I
do
was
like
on
the
right
gin.
one. I wanted to be
Yeah,
here.
we'll have to talk about
Thank you
gin.
for the
Actually, a
save.
friend of the man cave. It's a Heikler Castle gin,
Ooh.
and
Okay.
it comes right out of England from Heikler Castle itself.
Slip the ice. That's all it is.
What are you doing, dude?
There's ice. If you need ice, there's
Oh,
ice.
fair
I
enough.
wouldn't
This is
pour
such a
anything.
sad little cup.
It's
Yeah.
a sad little cup. But it's
It
just there to
is.
fill
It
ice,
is.
That's
you
not
know?
quite the red. That's a red solo on its own cup. Yes.
It looks like caught fire or something.
Yeah, but
That's those dollar store
when it
cups
comes
I
when
buy.
it comes to gin, we have stories to tell.
We're
Oh, we
fruit
do.
lovely.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
I'm intrigued by the stories.
Yeah.
But I think that
be a whole
a little
other
bit of gin
podcast.
in a sangria is definitely it is a really nice addition.
I want it all. I'm enjoying
He's
that.
milking
I have
that
another.
like a bee.
Hey,
The berry
guys,
citrus
I have more cans.
Sangria.
Yeah, we have more. It's
You
okay.
don't have to squeeze it out of the aluminum.
Seriously, I'm enjoying
was-
the hell out of this.
Yeah.
The canned beverages are very, very nice.
Well, I mean, so when we set out to make these, like, we want them to be extremely accessible, and cans are the most accessible package because, I mean, you don't want to take glass in your boat. You just don't. And and I mean, most beaches don't even allow glass.
Nope.
So
Sure fits in your golf bag easier, I'll tell you that.
yeah, yep, it's easier to hide, right? So
You could hit 36 and not make a mess. You know.
these are good golf beverages.
Let's leave my first 3 holes out of this.
I don't golf.
Augie, are we covering everything that we need to?
I think we're covering everything we want to cover.
Do you guys have any other
Alright.
questions about the meads?
Yeah, no.
There's still 3 unopened bottles. Of course, I
right.
got questions.
Well,
you know?
there's 3 half-drank bottles here. But
Right.
That has
Right.
to be consumed before we leave
So,
here.
but you were talking about the one that's still not the dark colored, but the lighter colored, and the darkest of the lighter colored, and that was what's that fella called there?
This one, this
yeah,
is
at least
poached.
tell us what you got here.
So poached. This is a
Poached,
spiced
yes.
pear melomel. So a melomel is a mead made with fruit.
Okay,
So this is made with Bartlett pears. And
See, I love a good pear.
Poached pears.
Poached, right? Yeah. So the whole idea is like poached pears.
So that you stole them.
Hunted them illegally,
Man,
Jamie?
that was a stretch.
Yeah.
That was like some serious gymnastics. But no. So the cool thing about this one is I tried something new with it, which I wasn't quite. Pear is really hard to get the flavor to come out on.
Sure.
And so,
So
when it was done fermenting, I was not happy with the level of pear flavor I was getting, and I didn't want to use concentrate or anything like that.
Right.
So I thought, I had some dry pears. So I was like, I'm just gonna age a little bit on some dried pears for a couple days and see what it tastes like. And it was really cool. And so that's what I did with this. And it has a much deeper pear flavor from it. It's really interesting. So it's like something new I'd never tried before, and I actually want to do more of it to like see what happens.
So you took the dry. You had the mead
found-
going.
Yeah, I fermented it all the way out, right?
Yeah.
And then we back sweetened it because it did dry out a little bit more. So we came back with more honey, but there's no way to like add pear juice. I mean,
Sure.
where are gonna
Yeah,
find
you
pear
don't
juice?
want to.
The pear flavor is so subtle to begin with.
Right. That was the problem. And I mean, I kept fermenting more pears. I kept throwing more pears in. Barry's like, how many more pears you get? I'm like, dude, I need more pears because he was getting them for me down at Eastern Market.
Yeah.
So
Bringing them back.
I was like, I needed 2 more cases, man. He's like, come on.
We have a banana story like that,
We put
too.
160 pounds,
Yeah, with
160
bananas,
pounds of
yeah.
Bartlett pears went in.
Barry and I went
before
banana
the dried
hunting.
pears.
I bet you have.
So I
Really
found-
ought to
the
rephrase
story.
that,
Okay.
dude.
So I found dried pears
poach 'em.
that didn't have. They were just dried pears. There was
Okay.
no added sugar, no sulfur dioxide or anything added to
All
them.
right.
And it took a little bit of mead with them, which was
Okay.
unfortunate. We don't have a
Alright.
press or anything, but it was worth it because I feel like the flavor's deeper from it, and
Okay.
I feel like this one's going to age well because the spices tend to be a little overwhelming. Like you don't want to underspice it because it won't age well. But you don't want to overspice it because you want it to drink well now.
Well, Paul, we just got to open that one now because you've really spent
can
the
if you want.
longest
We can
time
slide it over.
explaining
Yeah.
that one than any of the other ones. So we got to give that one a
I
taste.
feel like at this point,
Yeah.
All right. So is this a good one to top it off with here? The poached pear.
I think any of them are. I stand by all the stuff we make.
Yeah.
I mean, out of all these sitting on the table that are not open yet, I mean, this is my favorite, but that's just
Oh.
because it's like probably.
That's the one I was manhandling
Yeah,
earlier.
this is one I worked really hard on too. So, I mean, out of the 2, I think this one drinks a little bit better personally.
And which one is that? That's
So this is the black. This is a black and red raspberry mead, which is a really popular flavor profile.
You know what?
in the
If
mead
I
as
saw
well.
those two labels,
made with raspberry
those
blossom honey.
those
Right.
two labels on a shelf, I would pick the black and raspberry mead.
Well, I honestly
I'm
believe
not a pear
it is
guy. I'm
They
not
have one.
a-
They make one
I'm
called 3-2-1 Jam. Let's
we talked
jam.
about
This
this.
And that one
goes-
tastes like Yeji to me, but a better version of Yeji.
Really?
That's interesting.
So should we do a comparison? There's a bottle of Yeji.
There is a
You
bottle
have
of
a
Yeji.
bottle
we
of
don't
here?
have the 3, 2, 1.
Of course
Let's
I do.
jam here.
All right.
There is a bottle of Yeji in the building.
And I explained it to my parents. I'm like, you're going to like this. It's like a better Yeji.
oh, and they're like, oh, okay.
And my mom was all over it. So
Oh, all
Christmas
right.
sitting there, sipping on it. Christmas Eve.
I think these fruited meads like really have a lot of like common ground with a lot of other beverages. So you get
With
that
some
a lot.
brandies.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I even had like we did a barrel aged mead one time. Here, you want to cork it, or which one are we doing? The pear or that one? Which
That one. That one in your in Mike's hand. Yeah.
Okay, the burst and bloom.
So the
Let's try it.
the cool thing, like we did a barrel aged mead at Be Nectar one time, and someone told me it tasted like a Sauternes, which I thought was a really good
Oh,
compliment.
wow.
Yeah.
I have a bottle of Sauternes from my grandparents' wedding. I still have
It's probably amazing.
It's still got all the stamps on it. I got the
Really?
the two
That's
bottles that were the table wine at my grandparents' wedding right after World War II, and I have those bottles. Yes.
That's brilliant.
Yes. Pretty cool.
So, fellas, we're opening up all these bottles. Do we have to finish all these bottles?
I don't think so. We can each take a bottle, cork it, take it home, share it with the wife.
fair
We're
enough.
happy to leave. We can. Yeah, you can leave them here and
If you want to finish
sip them
them
later.
you know,
I gotta drive, man.
I'm not going to run away.
We all
So
gotta drive.
apparently I am. It is movie night in Mr. Flanagan's class tomorrow.
Gotta love it when the AV kid rolls in the old laserdisc player, right?
You gotta roll the.
It's a little bit different when we were
aside
kids. They used to have to
for the
bring in the
film strip
big giant
projector.
thing, but
Remember
you
that
know, it's
beep-doop?
like,
Yeah.
You turn it beat.
So
All right.
Burst
so this is
and bloom.
Burst and bloom.
And then you said, well, this is your favorite.
it's the favorite meat I've made, and I mean, it probably is my favorite meat I've ever made, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
What makes it your favorite?
It's just it hit all the things I wanted. Like, I mean, it's hard to do.
Oh, okay. It's got that base. It has the same base aroma.
I get blueberry, like, because we've been drinking a lot of stuff that has blueberry.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't know
it's-
if that's my palate or.
So black raspberries are like somewhere between red raspberries and blackberries.
Okay.
But they're different. You can't get the flavor from anything but a black raspberry, and they're really hard to get. And I'm not really sure why, but we found some. So
That is.
So can you do it again?
This is
So-
just.
That's tasty.
This is fucking lovely.
There it is.
I get that reaction a lot. This is a really good mead. Yeah.
That is tasty. That is really tasty.
It's also the sweetest mead I've ever made.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
See, I don't.
Me,
Get,
I don't
we've
make
been, we've been
sweet
drinking a
meads.
lot of sweet.
But you gotta
I'm not
understand.
getting a lot of sweet.
I don't
off
make
of
sweet
I'm the
meads.
sweet mead guy.
All right, yeah.
I don't.
These
I
guys
don't,
are like, "Are you sure you want to go that high?" I'm
Yeah,
like, yeah.
I like my pancreas. I don't go for real big.
Michael
sweet meats when I
Sweets
make 'em.
Spears.
Yeah.
That's what they call them.
I like them. I like them. You know, this is about as sweet as I go, and you had to. I mean, this is the acidity here needed it.
You have to balance it.
Yeah. You know, same with the parallax. That needed to be sweet because it's
And these are
it's,
black currants, which are
Yeah, they're very tart.
which are tart AF, as the kids say. And then,
No, they're tart as fuck. You can say that.
well, I can say
Which
that.
is my
I'm
jam.
a teacher. I can't say that.
I hunt down tart beers. I look for tart sours. I like the tart flavoring. That's
So
why
now
I
I
love
just
that red
hunt
sangria.
down
It's
tart.
just
This
the right
one
amount of
actually
tart.
has
you know?
the
Tart cherries. That's my jam. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, this one has the most residual sugar out of all our meads that we've
Yes,
made.
yeah.
But it doesn't taste the sweetest because
Yes,
of all the
right,
black
because of the
currants.
tartness.
We also aged in cacao nibs, which kind of gives a little earthiness and mellows it. It really just ties everything together.
You were saying tart, and this one right here on the back end, the tartness and the dryness kind of hangs around.
This mead
a
is going to
little bit.
age
It does.
really well. This
Yeah.
mead will age 10 years easily. Yeah.
That's
100%.
see, that's interesting. That's it's a different mindset from the others. It's the bourbon is just like you drink once it's bottled, that's it, you drink it. But these are you may want to hang on to and age for a little bit.
And they do change.
Yeah,
they
they do.
change considerably.
I can see
sometimes.
this aging really well.
It does. The tannin content, the acidity, the sugar content. I mean, it's going to age really well. There's just no doubt about it.
Yeah, and you want to talk, spirits? I had a glass of this a few weeks ago, and I put a shot of really nice high-end rum in it.
Oh,
and
nice. Yeah.
It was delightful.
So unlike the beer snobs that make their craft beer, you're not opposed to mixing your products with
No.
other things.
We always tell people drink it the way you enjoy it.
Do
And that is exactly
we've
what
heard
I've
that a number of times.
I've told
yeah.
that to
I'm
people
known
at
for
beer
blending
festivals.
everything.
Yes, I
Like,
said
I literally-
if you like it with this splash of cherry rhubarb seltzer in it, then if it's better to
do
you,
that.
then if you like that for your
Actually,
stouts, do it.
These
you know?
meads are really good to mix with that kind of thing because if you want something just bubbly and like cut down the sweetness, it's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah,
Definitely.
You could mix this with prosecco.
And actually, Mike here is
know.
Mike here is the king of mead cocktails, by the way.
Is he now?
At our we've done mead cocktails on National Mead Day, which is the first Saturday in August. We usually do a big release. And
You're welcome.
One of the things. Somebody had to be first in there, right?
Is the rock in
That's
here?
the name of my porno.
But anyways, so we did mead cocktails. We had a chocolate mead that we made, and I was making mudslides with it. We've done. We had the Lilikoi, the passion fruit mead. I was making frozen daiquiris out of that.
I think this is something we should put on the calendar, gentlemen, as where we should be live podcasting from.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, mead day. Mark it on your calendar for
Mead
Saturday.
day.
First
First
Saturday in
Saturday of
August.
August. All right.
Big deal.
All right.
It's a fun
Which
day.
is going to be an awful day for me because the election's always the first Tuesday in August, and I have to work that whole day, and
That's
as will
your-
Barry.
That's
but-
your fault. That is your fault.
Hey, someone has to keep this
Hey,
stuff.
You're right. You're
Them
right.
ballots
in
don't
line.
stuff themselves, man.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't know. I think
those
at
chads
least, I think
just
at least
don't
Barry
dangle
feels
on
the
their
headache
own.
coming on already.
Yeah.
I have thoroughly enjoyed having my mind changed. You know,
Yeah.
based when we started this evening, what my thought of mead was to where we are now.
Thought we were going to show up with big helmets with horns.
Yeah, right,
on them.
horns on them.
I was
Which the
hoping.
Vikings actually did not wear. But
Didn't do that, no.
I remember getting mead at the Renaissance Festival 15 years ago, and it tastes like white wine with Sprite in it.
Right,
That's
yeah.
what I thought mead was supposed to be.
And,
chance it was.
my mind
It's
is-
probably what it was, yeah.
And you have thoroughly changed my mind as to what mead really is. I
It's
almost
almost-
said
and weed.
I almost said weed. Yeah.
I mean, we can
Oh,
make
that's
it a
another
modern
show.
beverage. You can make it, kind of the way that people have it in their head, but you can make it a really fine modern beverage. And I mean, we're really in an age right now where there's a lot of it out in the market now.
Yeah.
Really good mead makers now. I mean, when we first started Beat Nectar, there was really nothing, and now it's like, there's a lot. There's a
Do
lot
you
to
do
choose from.
cocktails with these at all?
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you,
Oh, yeah.
What
Absolutely.
what kind of cocktails? What do you?
Mike
what
was
do
just touching on a couple of them, but one of my favorites that he made was actually made with the Sizer, which is an apple honey wine.
Yeah.
I was making the
with
Sizer
is a
mules.
mule,
Right. Okay.
and I never had the combination of like a mule, like ginger and all that, with apple, and I thought this is amazing. Like
Yeah.
it just was so good.
Okay.
Yeah.
He had his doubts too.
I did.
Right.
I did.
Because that
Why are you
that,
messing with my stuff, man?
that-
A little bit, I was like,
that
"What are you
apple
doing?"
mead was, first of all, that was our first national gold medal
Okay.
that we ever won, and that was one of Paul's days. We all work on the meads together, but we each, this is the whole triaxial thing,
Sure.
like the blue note, that was Barry's, right? Like,
Oh, nice.
everybody's pitching in on it, but that's Barry's recipe.
Funky.
That was his baby, right? The parallax was mine. The
Sorry.
poached and the triple raspberry, those were Paul's. So yeah, Paul was a little shaky, and he's like, "You're gonna do what with the apple mead?" Right? But I don't know if you ever had a
What
cider
are you
mule.
doing with my baby?
I was out in Vermont. My wife and I were out in Vermont, and one thing I noticed, and I had one, is that everybody out, hard cider is huge out there, and everybody's making these Moscow mules with with hard cider, and they were delicious. So I was like, "Yeah, okay, here we go." And I made one at home, and I'm like, "Oh fuck yes!"
It's so good,
Fuck
man.
yes.
It's so good.
Right on.
So yeah, we've done cocktails. Another thing I just want to mention in terms of, especially if anybody's out there listening, who is sort of in your
Nobody's
boat where
listening,
you didn't know a
but,
lot
you know.
about.
Yeah.
These are,
Folks are listening. Just so you
Gary's
know.
still there.
but I mean anybody who's like maybe a
There
mead
it is,
novice
podcast.
is what I mean.
Fair enough.
We're talking about our 14% meads. We also make what they call session meads. We make meads. We sell them on draft at our releases. They are 6% alcohol, light. Super. They're highly carbonated, nice and light.
Oh.
They drink a lot like the white sangria, but with really fun, funky flavors. We've done a margarita mead. That's a very classic, going back to the early homebrew
Are
days.
these
And
bottled
we
or they
converted
canned?
They're not either.
They're draft.
They're just draft.
Oh, draft.
draft. Yeah.
Oh,
We're
Yeah,
probably
we'll-
gonna
Go into
Follow
the
'em up.
releases. Go into the
we're probably
releases
gonna make
is a
those
thing.
under this brand.
Oh,
Even
okay.
better on draft.
We
Yes.
do
it
want
is
to
better on
release
draft,
those as
I see what you did.
a packaged commodity, but
Sure.
we're probably gonna do it under the Vivid Grove brand. We want to leave Triaxial as like the higher end bottled.
Sure.
Yeah, but those meads exist out there. You
How-
can find them in stores. Bee Nectar makes some really good ones, and there are some other ones out there as well. And then there are meads. You'll find meads that are somewhere in the middle. You'll find 8%, 9%, a little lighter in body, maybe not so bold in flavors as like maybe what you're drinking tonight. But mead is not. What you're drinking tonight is sort of our take on, more classic meads. But if you're out there looking to explore mead, go to a store like Holiday Market, go to Zatuna's, if you're out in Grand Rapids, Horrocks, right?
Support local, right?
There's a lot of when
and
you go
you'll
into
find meads. There are meads in the west side of the state and the north part of the state. They're all out there. Try them, and you'll be shocked at the wide range of, mouthfeels, flavors, alcohol contents, carbonation levels. Mead is, you cannot put it in one silo.
Yeah, my mind has been changed.
how many different expressions do you have at it like current? How many different
In stock-
expressions do you keep
In
like,
stock
current?
right now, I think we have 8, but some of them are almost sold out. Like the next time we're open, which I wanted to come up with a date today for this podcast,
Sure,
but
sure.
we didn't get around to it.
It's all right.
But we're gonna be open in February, one of the Saturdays. So look out, keep in touch on our Facebook page or
right.
sign up for our newsletter. But
That's triaxialmead.com.
Meads.
Meads.
Triaxial
M-E-A-D-S.
Smiths.
Meads.
Is it on the Facebook? Isn't that Smiths?
It's probably Triaxial Meadsmiths on Facebook,
Yeah,
but
that's
the
what I was
actual
thinking,
website is triaxialmeads.com.
All right.
With an
And you
S.
can Google it, it'll come up. Just Google Triaxial. If you Google Triaxial Mead, what will be the result?
Fair enough.
We're selling out of some stuff, but I mean, because we're doing actually really well in the retailers. I was kind of curious because mead doesn't move very quickly at retailers.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm getting reorders, so I mean, it's good. It's good.
But with these, it's like natural products, right? And it's like, okay, these blueberry bees in this blueberry field, it's like, oh crap, it was a crappy blueberry year. We can't do blueberry this year. So do you run into these, just natural
Availability of
ebbs and tides? And
We see what's out there and say, what can we make with it?
okay, right on.
Yeah, 2012 was a notoriously bad year for apples,
Okay.
cherries, and honey in Michigan.
All right,
so
yeah.
let's give you an example of that was pretty much actually like Armageddon as far as that's concerned. There was
Yeah,
no
it was
apples,
bad.
there was no cherries, and there was really no honey because there was no.
Is that the year
No-
they
no
had the early
blossoms
March?
to-
The March,
the frost.
it
was like- it was
got
like
really
90
hot
it was like
in
90
March
degrees
and then
in March.
froze again. Yes,
Yeah,
I
it
do
was-
remember
Yeah.
that.
The bees
in
were
the
out
80s.
like trying to pollinate. There was nothing to pollinate, and then all of a sudden it bloomed, and then there was no bees, and then all the trees
Then,
actually
then they had a
died.
snow day.
Yeah, like several,
That's like me
yeah.
at Hamtramck Fest. I'm out trying to pollinate. There's just nothing.
Oh,
to,
man.
What? All right.
You were
Sorry.
blowing.
Yeah.
Was
I want to thank you guys for coming all the way to Southfield tonight.
Overshare.
Well, Mike drove like
I know.
Mike drove like a whole.
I put it
2
in
miles.
Google Maps.
Yeah.
I knew where it was. Just I looked earlier, but it was like,
think
6
that
minutes.
is-
I
that
live
is-
2.5 miles from
That
here,
is
so-
right on.
Yeah, I live
Shooting
in Clarkson.
blanks.
Barry
All
lives
right.
up in Rochester. So.
No, but triaxialmeads.com and all the links will be in the descriptions of the videos and the audios. And
Awesome.
gentlemen, thank you
Honestly.
Oh, thanks
Thank
for
you
having
for
us.
having us. Appreciate it.
so much. I've enjoyed it immensely.
Yeah, August, these guys are much nicer than you
Yeah,
said.
no shit. What the hell?
They're also a lot nicer than I told you they'd be.
I was expecting a throwdown, man, but here we are.
No, I knew this was going to work out well.
All right,
So,
so here we go, gentlemen. We'll do it, and I want to do it again when you new variations and new expressions. We'd love to have you back.
Love to be back.
yeah, we'd love to
and
raid
talk
one of your
about it.
summer releases and set up shop in the parking lot
Yeah.
there, and
And just,
Yeah, you can do live or
Just
or,
tip a few
or-
at the August celebration. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Salute.
Clink,
Fair.
clink.
Paul and Mike Barry, thank you guys so much for coming out,
Thank you.
joining us here in the Man Cave on a Thursday night.
Woohoo! See you, fellas.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.